talking in the mirror and I put my hand up, and basically when I connected with the mirror, it was almost like I'm speaking to my twin. So I did that as that was an improv moment. But there was also when I there's a moment where I slammed my head into a sink and I just started yelling as Tanya in character, and that all made the movie. So that was pretty cool because in the script it was like she slams her head into the sink, but then I just kind of kept going with it and they kept filming. So I was like, cool, let's go. But you know, I love doing that. I love when it's like a little piece, a scene that's like this small.
Welcome to Survive the Shows.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment here at Survive the Show. I'm Desiree, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Jackie Moore, star of the LMN movie Deadly Desire.
Thank
Join
you so
us.
much.
Thank you. Join us as we delve into Jackie's insights into her character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you again, Jackie, to be here with us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm so happy to be here.
I appreciate your time. So, what first attracted you to the script for Deadly Desire, and which moment or line made you say, "I have to play this"?
Well, the script as a whole, I really, really enjoyed. I love playing villains. I don't know if you've seen any other LMN movies I've done, but I play the villain quite often. And I do love playing the villain. It's just, I feel like it's a very fun, you know, role usually. And the script in itself was interesting because I felt like I really appreciated the deeper story that was kind of like her backstory. So I felt that it was easier to tap into her anger and where that was coming from because of what happened in the past
Yeah,
to
amazing.
her. So I felt like she was, it wasn't just like she was a villain because of the circumstances that happened to her.
Yeah,
I thought it was an interesting role. And as far as like a scene or anything that really made me want to play the role, I would say just I love the romance element that was with the other female character. I thought that it was really interesting and I thought it wasn't something that I'd done in a movie like this before. So I was really excited to play that role.
amazing. And can you describe your character and what you find the most compelling or surprising about her?
I think the most surprising or compelling part of Tanya is the fact that she's kind of got these different layers. You don't know if she's manipulating Cassidy's character. Brittany is the name of Cassidy's character.
Yeah,
So Tanya comes into Brittany's life as like the girlfriend of someone that they're friends with. So you don't really know what her intentions are, but then it just seems like there's some chemistry between the two females. So I think for me, it was just interesting to understand like what exactly is her motivation? Is she, wanting to play a game with Brittany's character? Is she wanting to um, you know, really get to know her in that way? It's like there's multiple facets to her. So I thought that was interesting.
that's great. And how did you prepare emotionally and practically for the role? And were there specific exercise, research, or rituals you used on set?
I use a lot of times music to get into the mode of a character, especially if it's a scene that's emotional or requires a lot of either sadness or, anger. And I think sometimes underneath sadness, there is anger. But as far as what I do to prepare, I do write a character backstory. I do a lot of my normal preparations for the role, which is like just getting to know who this person is and what were they doing before they were in this movie. Like this is a slice of their life. So what was their life like prior to this, And there are some clues as to what her life was in the past because it says it in the script. So it was kind of um interesting, the things that were written about Tanya in the script were like a broken family and you know, her mother, she says her mother is an alcoholic. So you could use a lot of the things that are already in the script and kind of inform your character backstory. And that really, I think, helps the role come to life.
Great. And the movie balances suspense and intimate character beats. How did you approach the turn shift in performance?
It's always challenging when, especially when you're playing the villain because there's always a part in the movie where it turns. So you can't really, give too much away in the beginning because you're a character that the audience is not sure what to think of them. It's like you kind of have to tread lightly. And I think for this movie, it's pretty obvious what the shift is because suddenly it's like she's in this scene with her boyfriend and you see what's going on. So that's definitely, I think, the shift in the movie where you suddenly see Tanya's other side. So that was really fun because it was like there wasn't anything that you had to do. Um, how to explain it? It was it was just fun because it's like she's still trying to portray this innocence to Brittany, but you know that she's done this other thing. So if you've seen the movie, it's pretty cool. I like that. I like the how they kind of wove that in there.
Great.
Yeah,
And
I don't want to give too much away. That's what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always,
yeah. It's
you know.
great. And which scene in Deadly Desire challenges you the most to perform and why?
I believe the final showdown usually is the most challenging in the script. It's not always the case in a film, but for the most part, in these kind of thrillers, there's always a moment where the antagonist and the protagonist have their standoff. And it's kind of like they call it almost like a villain monologue, but it's almost like where you see everything laid out there and you see what the reason behind all of this was and it kind of like all comes to a head there. So I think that's usually the most challenging, but I think also just hiding her true intentions throughout the whole movie was challenging too, because you don't want to give too much away while you're in the scene, but you also have to think about what is the reason why she's here and what's the motivation for her to have that interaction with Brittany.
Amazing. And were there moments you improvised on set that made it into the final cut? And can you give us an example, if so?
Yes, there are a few moments that I improvised. There's one where I'm speaking to the mirror, and if you see the movie, there's the twin aspect. So basically, the twin is in the beginning, and my twin in the movie is in the photo shoot. So because it's kind of like the hidden, it's not super obvious that the twin is in the beginning of the movie. There was a scene where I'm talking in the mirror and I put my hand up and basically when I connected with the mirror, it was almost like I'm speaking to my twin. So I did that as that was an improv moment. But there was also when I there's a moment where I slammed my head into a sink and I just started yelling as Tanya in, in character, and they that all made the movie. So that was pretty cool because in the script it was like she slams her head into the sink, but then I just kind of kept going with it and they kept filming. So I was like, cool, let's go. But you know, I love doing that. I love when it's like a little piece, a scene that's like this small,
Yeah,
and then it ends up being like the scene that you never thought would turn into something else, because in the moment it just becomes this whole other thing. So it's cool. Yeah.
yeah, it's cool. And how did you and the director work together to shape your character's arc across the story? And any memorable notes or directing moments you would like to share?
Well, Jared and I have worked together on many projects. He's one of my good friends and we work together a lot. So, he doesn't give me so much direction because of the fact that we kind of know each other so well and we've worked together so many times that he kind of just lets me have freedom with the role. And actually, Michael Dvorzan, who's the writer of the script, he's one of the writers. He gave me a lot of direction as for what he wanted with Tanya. And he was really hands-on with Cassidy and I with kind of directing us and sharing what he felt he thought Tanya would be like. So there's nothing that I can remember specifically about a note or anything, but I just really enjoyed the process and I was given a lot of freedom and um really feel like it's a collaborative experience when I work with them. It's really, really great.
Great.
And a
And
lot came out with
yeah,
Brittany too. Like with Tanya and Brittany, I feel like a lot of magic happened.
yeah,
Um, who Cassidy played. I feel like there was so many really special moments that happen with those scenes, and that's something that you can't really predict. It's either there or it's not.
amazing. And costume and makeup often tell a secret story. How did the wardrobe help you build the character? And was there a piece you felt connected to?
Actually, Mika and I worked on creating the look for the character, and Mika is amazing as a costume designer. He's just so fun to work with. And it was funny. He had this photo of these shoes that he really was like, I really picture Tanya to have these shoes. They were kind of like heeled, almost like Mary Jane shoes. Really, really cute. And I found them. I just was taking a break from set one day. I went to this store and I was like, Mika, I found the exact shoes that were in the photo that you sent me. And he's like, what? How did you find those? And I love vintage shops, thrift shops, things like that, because I love to find little treasures. And I found these shoes just randomly there. And he was like, what? It's so cool. So I think it was a lot of really special moments that happened with creating the costumes and a lot of the pieces. I love the jewelry he picked and just really fun, really fun. It makes the character come to life when the costumes are so important.
Yeah, yeah. And the movie features a tense relationships. Sorry. How did you build on-screen chemistry or friction with your co-stars ahead of shooting?
Well, Cassidy and I worked together prior to filming. We did some Zoom rehearsals and everything, and we just got along so well. So I think it was hard for the scenes where we had to be, mean to each other because we really, really got along and we really had so much fun. We had so much in common and just connected right away. And I think that's apparent when you watch the movie. I think you can really tell that, in the scenes before it goes bad, you can really see that we liked each other and we had a really fun time working together. And it was just great. She's an excellent actress. I really, really felt so present in the scenes with her. And it just made it so much easier.
Amazing. And were there any safety, stunt, or technical sequences that required special training or coordination? And how did you tackle them?
Oh, yes, there was one that was a little scary, which is, there's glass that gets kind of shattered on my head. And of course, you use candy glass in movies, but candy glass still kind of hurts, It's not always it's not always as easy as people think to like get hit on the head with something that's fake.
Yeah,
It's still you still feel it, you still feel something there. So I think that was challenging and just a little bit of the fight choreography. There was, some moments where we really didn't have too much time. On the smaller film, you don't have a lot of takes to get what you need. So you get like one or two takes and you really have to get the scenes down. And Eric Roberts actually really helped me in one scene with him where I have to it's kind of a spoiler, but I have to hit him. And he really worked with me prior to them saying action on just getting that perfect, like getting it all lined up. And it really looks great on film. So I was really grateful that he helped me with that. So it's just about having a great scene partner. And Cassidy was the same with the stunt with me with the candy glass. Like she was awesome helping me, making me feel like I was gonna be okay.
yeah, yeah, great.
Great.
And Deadly Desire leans
Mhm.
into moral ambiguity. How did you navigate playing choices that might make the audiences question your character's motives?
I think it's always just little subtle glances or you might just give a look at certain line and really studying what the scene is helps because when there's a moment where the other person might say something and you're like, oh, I'll just give a little glance there because it kind of just is it makes the audience wonder why did they just give them that look? Like it seems like there's something else going on. So, it's about breaking down the script, breaking down the scenes and seeing where those opportunities lie. Like what moments do you have that you can really kind of use to kind of make the audience question your motivations.
Yeah, true. And did you discover anything about your character on set that surprised you or changed how you played later scenes?
I think for me, I have a sister who I'm so close with. So I think the emotion really surprised me in the last scene because, when you're playing a character that has a connection to your real life, where um, in this movie, Tanya is her motivation is basically what happened to her twin sister. So it's like, I don't have a twin sister, but my sister and I are so close and might as well be twins. She's my best friend. So I think any time where it's a storyline like that, it just brings up a lot of emotion because it's just, you know, a protective nature I feel towards my sister. And so that was easy for me to connect to. So the emotion really, really came out in the scenes.
Amazing. And what themes from Deadly Desire do you think will stick with viewers? And why are these themes important now?
I said this before in another interview, and I really believe that this is the case. It's like, be careful who you let into your life because, you know, I think with Tanya and Brittany, she comes into her life very quickly, and Brittany trusts her so fast. And, you know, I think we can be very trusting, and then someone can come in and show us a whole nother side, and it's just the message that I think people would respond to about this. And yeah, I think that's for me the theme that I connected to, and I hope others do too. Just be
Yeah,
careful who you choose.
exactly.
Yeah.
And did you receive any feedback from early viewers or the cast that shift your perspective on your performance?
Oh, you always hear good and bad, you know. You can't listen to either. I try not to let it get to me. Sometimes, if you hear something bad, you're just like, you just want to tell the person, look, we're trying the best we can. We don't, it's not a blockbuster movie where you have 6 months to film it or something. We have one or two takes. We are absolutely trying the best we can. And sometimes when I see reviews that are a bit bullying of these kind of movies, the Lifetime movies in general, it's like I kind of feel that people have to accept it for what it is in a way. It's like they're movie of the week. We are setting out to make a great, great product, but with the time that you have, it's not always possible to get the absolute best. And so as far as like the reviews and everything, people can be really mean. And so I just try to avoid it. Once in a while I'll see something and I really want to say, come on, guys, like be nice. But, you know, the good outweighs the bad sometimes too, because you hear both sides. But, we're just all doing our best. And it's always just important to be kind to others. And I feel that way about reviewers. It's like take the film for what it is. We don't have we had a very short amount of time to film it. So we tried our hardest.
Yeah. And looking back, how does this role compare to the most emotionally demanding part you have played before? And what did it teach you about your craft?
I really, really like this role a lot. I think every film teaches you something about yourself, and you're not always aware of what that message is until sometimes looking back at it. But for me, I think I I had some challenges while filming, and getting through those challenges as a person, not as an actor. I think that really helped me see that I could do it. And, you know, there was definitely hard times filming. And I think, every experience makes you stronger. And so I don't know if it's something that I took away as much as my acting, as even as more as just me as a person getting through something that was difficult. So yeah, I won't say too much, but it was just there was challenges on the shoot. I wasn't feeling great, and it was like, yeah, but got through it.
Great. And outside this movie, what project in your career do you point to as a turning point and why?
I think for me, the turning point was trying to think. I guess being on TV shows, it's so different, especially being in front of a live audience. I did do The Odd Couple years ago, and I think for me that was like a big turning point because you're in front of a live studio audience, which was something I had never done. I think after that, I felt like that was a challenge that I overcame. It was something that was probably a lot scarier. And then afterwards, I was like, I can do this. Even when something seems scary, it's like, just go for it. just do it. And you might surprise yourself. It might be way more fun than you think. So that was the turning point for me.
Great. And what kinds of characters or genres are you most excited to explore next? And are there dream collaboration or directors on your list?
Let's see. The characters I would like to play. I like anything that's I love a good story. If I'm part of a great story, that's what matters to me. I think what it all comes down to is every part's important when there's a good story. You know, I write as well. I just sold my second screenplay and I want to direct my first feature. So, maybe there's a role that I wrote for someone that I might actually get to play. And I write a lot of strong female leads. That's kind of what I've realized. I looked at the scripts I've written. I'm like, wow, these are all strong female leads, and that's what we need. We need more. We need women directors. We need great roles for women, always. And as far as who I'd want to work with, I know this is not an actor, but I love Sofia Coppola so much. She's inspired me as far as directors. So, I think of everyone, she would be someone that I would love to work with. She's my favorite. I know
Amazing.
that's not an actor, but there's so many actors I love too. But yeah, as far as directors, Sofia Coppola, maybe I'm trying to think of it. There's just so many actors. I love Vera Farmiga. I think she's amazing. I love the Conjuring movies.
Yeah,
Uh, that's and I've seen so many of her performances. I think she's excellent. I would love to work with her. It's kind of a
great.
random choice, but yeah, she's excellent.
If for some reason she is listening, you understand. Very
Well, maybe one day I'll get to direct her in something because my goal is to direct, and that would be awesome.
amazing. So,
Thank you.
the final question, what's next for you? Are there projects you can talk about in your future or a personal creative goal you are pursuing in the coming month?
So there's a few things coming out, but for the most part, I'm focusing on making my feature film happen that I'm directing. I wrote it, and that's my goal. And I actually just directed a TV pilot. I created this concept with a friend of mine, James Allen Ross, who's a great writer. We've we actually just sold a script together, and so got some cool stuff behind the camera that I'm doing. So yeah, it's just Anna, the movie I wrote in it filmed in June, so hopefully that'll be on TV soon.
Oh,
So
great.
yeah.
Can we share a little bit? Only a genre or what you can say?
On the film?
Your
Oh,
feature film.
yes. The one that I co-wrote is starring Charisma Carpenter from she was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Cordelia, which
Ooh.
I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Nikki Whelan and I wrote this. It's kind of it's called Swipe Right for Danger. So we'll see where it ends up, but I don't know how much I can share. But they filmed it in June, so hopefully it's coming to
Can we
TV.
say if it's a thriller? Sorry if I interrupt
Oh
you.
yes,
It's a
thriller.
thriller. A thriller. Great.
Yeah, thriller.
Great. We hope we can watch it soon on Lifetime or uh,
I hope
another. Yeah.
a
Great.
lifetime. I'm so grateful for a lifetime.
Amazing. So,
And grateful for you, Desiree. You've been such a great host. Thank you so much.
thank you. Thank you for joining me today. It's always a pleasure for me.
Thank
And
you so
remember you all that to watch Deadly Desire on a Lifetime platform. Thank you again, Jackie.
Thank you so much, Desiree. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. And thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.